Hey everyone! Welcome to the Fika Session. I'm so happy that all of you came down to support this little movement. Just to kind of give you a little information about what the Fika Session really is about. Fika in Sweden means that you're having coffee with someone and you're putting your phones away and you're giving yourself those, you know, those precious moments where you're actually in the moment together with that person and you're having a really great conversation. It's all about like really focusing on what's in front of you, really honestly and boldly. And the Fika Session is a community platform for creative professionals to discuss and network whilst enjoying some great music and drinks and venue. And so the way that it's built up is that I feature an artist and I feature a topic. So, and then what we do is that I'll do a little bit of an interview with the artist on the given topic, and then we're going to invite you guys in to be a part of the conversation, and then the artist will finish off at the very end. So, today's topic is, can you create a movement with your creativity? And that could be fashion, that could be music, that could be acting, that could be PR, that could be hair, makeup, whatever it is. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. But with no further ado, can you please give your loudest roars and cheers for the lovely Juliana Yazbeck!
Thank you, Cecilia. It's so great to be here. It's my first time doing the Fika Session and I love the concept. So we'll start off with a song in English. Yeah, just so you guys don't feel too out of your depths. This is a song that I wrote about a year ago. It's called Daddy.
This ship will sail in the morning, so why don't you take it off? Break me apart tonight, boy. Come help me shake it off. I said no, no, thank you. I've got a date with my daddy issues. I said no, no, thank you. I don't need someone to hold my box of tissues. I got a towel in the bathroom for the men who come to stay. I don't know who my true love is, but I'm chasing him away. I said no, no, thank you. I'm sure you're a nice guy, but let's each go their own way. This ship will sail in the morning. We're rolling without falling. See, all I need is bodies. So please don't fall apart, don't fall apart. I said no, no, thank you. I've got a date with my daddy issues. I said no, no, thank you. I don't need no one to hold my box of tissues. I keep a towel in the bathroom for the men who come to stay. I don't know who my true love is, but I'm chasing him away. I said no, no, thank you. I'm sure you're a nice guy, but let's each go their own way. I said, don't know if I can do this now that I've lost my way home. I said, no, no, thank you. I'm sure you're a nice guy, but I'd rather be alone.
Thank you so much. I want to share a little story about that. So yeah, I wrote that at least a year ago. It might have been longer now. And I was working very, very hard on myself at that time. And since then, I learned a very valuable lesson. And from that lesson, I was able to welcome into my life this man. It's a real blessing. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, I'm sorry. So I'm going to do a song in Arabic now. This is the first time I wrote hip-hop in Arabic. So it's a combination of quite traditional singing from the Levant area, which is a region of the Middle East that I come from. I'm Lebanese. And it's got Arabic hip-hop and rap in it. I hope you enjoy this. This is called Ashak.
أعشق الأرض تحت قدمي كل دابس من رجلي تحرك دقات قلبي دق 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 نمشي خطوة خطوة جانبا جنب ندرك القصة والقلم أحرس سري بقلبي همسة 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 فأسرح شعري وأرتدي ثوبي لكن دائما أحرس قلبي أمسح الكحل عن العين أمسح الدمع عن الخد لكن على أركع الأرض لغير الصلاة أتمسك بسجادة ذكريات أغمض عيني أسترجع حبي خطوة 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 فأكرس ليلي وأفديك بروحي وأهديك جسدي لكن دائما لكن دائما لكن دائما أحرس قلبي عبطنا الشمس عبطنا الأمس ما عدنا نعرف الصلاة من الجنس القبر من اللبس الجريمة من اللمس مرقنا الحاجز كنت قاطع نفس جاوبني انت مهيج او مغرور ذكوري او مظلوم واعي واذا واعي ينعم متلوم ما عاد عارفين الموت من النوم العلم من الظلم من الكس من الكون بس عطشنا ما بيرتوي الا من هون اسمع بدور الدولاب وبدور الدولاب وبدور هالدولاب وقلبك بعد ما دار تاريخنا بيندرس بأي كتاب طيب والأجنبي بعطيه أي جواب أنا كيف افتح له قلبي وبعد ما فتحت له الباب هو وصل على العدسة وما كنا حاسبين له حساب اعتبره بيت أمه وذبح البواب وما مسح صباطه إلا بوجوه الولاد بس هو حلو وأشقر وما بينام أول مرة عالرايق عمل تاني مرة تعا نعبد بعد فترة منتعربط بالأمل هو حلو أشقر ما عدنا عارفين الفرق علمونا إنه الحلو أشقر والأشقر حلو واللي عيونه زرق واللي معه ورق نص إله ونص إنسان نص إله ونص إنسان فأكرس ليلي وأفديك بروحي وأهديك جسدي لكن دائما لكن دائما لكن دائما
Apart from literally my family, is there anyone here who knows any Arabic? No, wow. Wow. Thank you guys. Thank you. I could see that, honestly, in your faces. That sounds a bit twatty, but honest to God, I could see that in your faces. Thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Thank you for that reminder. Minor detail. Initially, I wrote it without the rap, so the melodic bits describe the story of a woman who's in love, and the first half is so romantic, and it's a secret love, so the man doesn't know. And she describes how he makes her feel. And then gradually throughout the song, it turns extremely abusive. And you can't quite tell if it's the same man or two separate relationships. So there was that. It's interesting because somebody urged me to write a love song, and that's what came out. And then when I wrote the rap, the lyrics in the rap really open up, and it talks about colonialism and gender oppression and racial oppression and the Middle East, and nothing is specific. It's very open, but it kind of opens up into all that. I suppose overall it's about oppression, and it's definitely a song for women, definitely. Thank you. So do you reckon we'll do one or two more, or just see how it goes? Yeah, we gotta shake. Yeah. I found my new percussionist. So I'll do another tune in English now. Also an original song that I wrote, and it's quite hip hop heavy. So I hope you enjoy this one. This is called Sun God. His first trip when he was 6, fields and sun and plenty chicks, all wrapped up like 6 sticks, both his J and his little sis. They wrap him real tight for fear of flight. They breed a fight. They who once had a fair chance, had abundance, had the sun dance for their god of light. When you put a gun in a brother's hand, be sure to put a bitch on a brother's lap. Cause God don't have pussy. Man's gotta lay down with something real, with something round. Shot his first dog when he was 9. Plenty of time to go home and unwind. They grow the best shit, they smoke the best shit, they share the best shit and stone the best bitch. The sun beats down on you just like daddy do, except the sun is the one who provides for you. But he was tricked into games of dependency, concepts of currency, illusions of liberty. The rain will wash, the sun will dry, the soil will feed, and they won't try to take, to fake, to ask who or who's who you happen to be.
13. Hopped on a bus, red, white, and green. His mother's blessing, his father's dressing, his sister's messing like a kaleidoscope screen. Red and more red, this time for real. Red and more red for every meal. Back alley tricks, make sure you don't mix drugs and dicks. Death is here, keep your wits. Mais la vie est toujours belle. Got him tits, something about red makes shit, reaver shit, makes living more alive, easier to survive. Death brings us life, and we clean, and we sing, and we fuck, and we bring babies into this world of red, into this life, this death. Bitch knew she should've just given head, should've got out of bed, should've got ahead, should've stayed ahead. Easy access meds, she needed a fix, back alley tricks, makes drugs and dicks. One baby dead, two babies dead. No one bothers to count, to amount, to take into account, to keep up, to keep out, to speak up, to sneak out, to know how to keep death, to keep war, to keep death, to keep war, to keep death out. Such a good time. I hope you are, yeah, I really hope that you all are. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cecilia. Yeah. So we'll do another one before we get to the next bit. I just want to say a huge, 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 huge thank you to my brother and guitarist Alexis Kranio. There's never any questions asked. It's just like, Alexi, we're gonna do this absolutely crazy thing that nobody might ever hear or do or pay us for, and he's just there. Thank you, man. So the next song we'll do is also in Arabic. This is a cover song. It's a really well-known folk song from our heritage by a very famous singer called Fayrouz. It's from a musical. But not that kind of musical. And it's an ode to her grandma. So she's stuck in a village. She can't get across because of occupation. And she calls her grandma and sings her a song over the phone. It's a very touching song. It's called Cecilia Stalin, which means Grandma, my grandma. علي صوتك بعيد جاي من الكرم جاي من التفاح صوتك حار شمس وفاي ولون التين والزيتون وريحة الطيور يا ستي لحدا ينطرني ما تأجلوا العرس انتوا بقلبي قولي للعروس شو هم الفستان اللي كله أمان. إيه يا ستي شو بقلك يا ستي، انتو بقلبي قولوا زيو، جاي ومنا جاي هون ومناش هون، عم بتغني للعروس والعريس بالساحات ومن خلف الطرقات يا ستي.
We're talking about can you start a movement with your creativity, and whether you're a graphic designer or you're a singer or you work in art or in fashion or hair or makeup or whatever it is. So, but before we do that, it'd be really lovely if you could just, like, for anyone who might come in a little bit later, can you just introduce yourselves and just give us a little bit of a background about you?
Hi. So my name is Juliana Yazbeck. I am Lebanese, US born, but I moved to post-war Lebanon when I was 5. I write a fusion of Arabic melodies, hip-hop, poetry, and soul, both in English and Arabic. I started writing and performing my original music about 2 years ago. Prior to that, I worked as a musical theatre cover singer, the usuals. That's briefly what, and I've been in London for 6.5 years, so yeah, I would say that's briefly what I do.
Hi everyone, how you doing? That was amazing, by the way, absolutely incredible. Wow. My name is Zawadski. I'm a singer and a violinist. I write music, I perform with my band, I'm a full-time musician. But also, I think probably one of the reasons why Cecilia's invited me here today is that I'm doing a lot of work with refugees. So I got into this about 1.5 years ago. I was volunteering in the Calais jungle, and then subsequently after that I've been continuing some of that work with people who are newly arrived here. So just in terms of friendship, in terms of some kind of support with legal issues. I'm also working for a charity called Play for Progress, which is giving musical experiences and tuition to the unaccompanied teenagers who've found their way to the UK. So we meet every Friday in Croydon, and we do various kind of musical activities with them in terms of for building confidence, etc. So yeah, my life is a mix of things at the moment. Cool.
So, where did I want to start? I'm actually going to start. I want to come around to the main question, but I think that when you talk about creating a movement with your creativity, I want to kind of explore a little bit about creativity. So my first question is, what is creativity to you?
It's a big old question.
Yeah, I'm having an existential crisis right now.
When I got these questions yesterday, and it's a huge question, of course. We're going to wade in essays, many books that I should have read. Yeah, it's a really interesting question and a really nice opportunity to think about what that is. It's really good, I think, to keep going back and reassessing why you do what you do. Yeah, for me, I guess creativity, you can sort of start to explain it in various different ways using different approaches. So there's a couple of things. One is thinking of creativity as you being a vessel for some kind of message. You're a conduit for something that's bigger than yourself. And if you're open, and if you have some kind of vehicle in which to express it, then this is one way of describing, for me anyway, creativity. But also, it reminds me of this amazing writer and musician. There's a guy called Stephen Nakmanovich. Is anybody familiar with this guy? I don't know if he's one of these old dead guys or if he's like an alive guy. I don't know. But I've been reading this amazing book of his, and it's called Free Play.
And it talks about how there are lots of things in the universe, formulas which repeat themselves. So whether that's something that you can hold, that's tangible, or whether that's just an abstract idea, a lot of the same formulas are relevant to that thing. So whether that's like the shape and formation of a snowflake, or whether that's the cycle of grief and rebirth, which is something you can't touch but that you feel. That all of these things repeat themselves and are mirrored in every aspect of life. And that nature, these natural laws, have a way of organizing everything. And that humans don't even really have to interfere. Chaos has a way of organizing itself in the way that if you have a tray of water and you slosh it around for a while, you leave it and it's still sloshing, and then eventually it's going to make its way back to stillness. It's going to reorganize itself. And I love the idea, referring back to the question about creativity, this idea that if you allow something to flow, there will be some kind of inherent form and structure to it if you just allow it to happen, because nature has a way of making it something that's you can relate to, and that makes sense.
Do you mean every person has that?
I think so, yeah. I think everything we do, our breath in, our breath out, the way that we speak, the way that our bodies work, everything makes sense. And if we can trust in that process, then often the things that come out of us, when we're maybe not even cerebrally engaged, those things actually can turn out to have the most beautiful form, just because nature works that way. I really like that idea. I think also there's another thing which is, sorry, I'm talking too much. One last thing, this idea of the process of creativity as well, and the ability to try and look at things as having an alternative use. So you might be trying to write a song, or you might be trying to find a way to design something. And it's just this way of training yourself to see an alternative use in something. So whether that's using an unexpected chord under a melody, searching for something different, or whether that's wearing socks on your head instead of a hat, or something like this, by its very nature, trying to find an alternative. You might not even be trying to be new and original, but it's just by default, because of that process, it's probably going to be quite fresh and interesting. And I think that's a really nice place to start if you're feeling blocked creatively, is to try and, I don't know, like maybe you could be a painting on this wall, or this chair could sit on top of me and I could be the chair. I don't know, just random bollocks like that. It's a really nice way to start, Then you have somewhere to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks. Wow.
Yeah, I'm very glad that you mentioned that first point that you mentioned. The natural flow.
Yes.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, and I think it's so important that, because we are all born with that, right? Because we are nature, and nature is perfect. And then we learn to forget it. And all this cognitive bullshit, it's so debilitating. So I'm very glad that you mentioned that. I think all we have to do, which is easier said than done, is trust that your artist's instinct knows what it is doing. Trust that. It's easier if you don't have to pay bills, but trust that. Yeah.
And it's going to be offensive as well.
And there's another thing on top of that. There's a book called The Power of Now, where where so for example, something happened, someone's really rude to you on the tube, and that aggressiveness like comes to you, and you're like, maybe you react, and then you're like, shit, this is not me, but how they look upon, like how you take a step back and you look at the thought, the train of thought is actually you don't want to be controlled by the train of thought. You want to actually acknowledge it. Okay, that's what's happening. I'm going to take a step back, and then I'm going to kind of go with the flow. I'm gonna let it happen. I'm not gonna react, but I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna be acknowledged that it's there. But then I'm just gonna let my flow go. And I think sometimes that's actually really interesting to kind of just, when you're in the position of creating and you don't know how to kind of start, sometimes maybe not trying can be the one thing, you know? You just allow yourself to kind of touch the piano or start singing something. Is the most, absolutely, I call it head ghosts. And that's our own confidence kind of trying to bash us down. But yeah, awesome, thank you. If anyone at any given time have a opinion or want to make their voice heard, just give me a shout and I'll pass this mic out. You're here to be a part of this, so please, just give me a wave. Right, so a continuation from this. What drives you to be creative? Has your personal experience influenced your creativity? Yeah, Julia.
I think I would have to think about what drives me to not be creative. Yeah, I don't know if that's a very good question. And I know I had it, and I did think about it, I promise. No, but I think creativity is so much ingrained in who I am that just breathing drives me to be creative. Life, you know, everything. But in terms of personal life, yes, absolutely. I think you can kind of tell from my songs that they are a little bit about my personal life, a tiny little bit. And certainly that's made its way into almost all of my art. My whole story, you know, my parents eloped, and then they were displaced. They were asylum seekers during the Lebanese Civil War, so we were born there. And then I had a single mother, and then we moved to post-war Lebanon, and that entire journey is so ingrained in every single note I sing and word I write. So I don't see how our personal story could not influence our creativity.
I think the question is more posed in the sense of, no, absolutely, most people do, but maybe for certain people, they don't want to face that, escape, you know, they don't want to face it, or maybe they just lived a good life and they want to write about other things, you know, or, you know, there's so many different shades of sadness or happiness or whatever kind of experience you've had, and someone who might not have had that same experience as you have had might have actually experienced similar sadness or tumult or in other situations. So I think I'm just asking from a point of view like, how does creativity maybe influence you, and like, do you, besides your own, like, where do you find inspiration? And that's actually the next question, so we can mix them together. Like, what inspires them?
Yeah, again, it's a really big thing, and I really resonate with what you're saying. I think probably for most of you guys in the room, it's one of those things where it's not even really a question of why do you spend your time in these creative endeavors. It's just that you have to. So for me, even just the action of putting my bow on the string and playing some notes is like some kind of it's some kind of therapy, I suppose. It's like breathing. And I realized a while ago actually that if you get to a point in your life where you feel really despondent or broken or lost, you know those moments where you can have like a checklist on your hand, like, okay, is it because I need food? Am I lonely? Do I need to see my friends? Do I need sex? Do I need to drink loads? Do I need my career to be better? Do I want people to love me? Whatever those things all are, you can normally work out which one or two of those things it is that you need to make you feel better. And sometimes you don't know what that thing is. And for me,
the only thing that's always consistent the whole way through is to make some kind of music. And whether that's in my front room and just literally for myself, just like groanings, a couple of notes, or whether that's doing a concert, it's where I feel the most empowered and the best version of myself. I think it's a chance to express yourself, and I think actually, maybe this is jumping ahead slightly, but with some of the people that I'm working with at the moment, they've been through obviously a really tumultuous time in their lives, and they're also at that age where they don't necessarily have the tools that adults have to express themselves in a healthy way. And actually being able to make noise, just simply to make noise, is a really amazing way of getting some stuff out, sort of starting to physicalize some things. So I think it's important for all of us. And again, it's not just sound, it's painting or movement, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
So, okay, I'll skip that next question then. But if you could change one aspect of our society with your work, what would that be?
There's always a bigger problem, isn't there? There's always worse suffering. But I think I'm going to cheat, because I think the one thing that can go across the board, I mean absolutely across the board, is oppression. Oppression. I mean, from the most privileged people in society to, you know, the most soapboxy person in society. Yeah, if we can wipe out oppression, we can empower the entire world. And you know, oppression is so deeply ingrained in the world that we live in. I think particularly because of mass media, that we don't know we are being oppressed. I mean, this may sound like a hippie conspiracy. For me, it is a fact. There is an illusion of, I'll talk about my own personal story. You know, if you make it to the West, you are free. And you get to the West. I can talk about religion. And I can, yeah, that's pretty much it. No, but yeah, but on the other hand, I am deprived of, I'm no longer on the top of the racial ladder. I was in Lebanon, I'm not here. I'm no longer, there are certain freedoms that you are deprived of. I don't know how to explain it. Like, first world society gets you into a system of work and get a mortgage. And it's a prison. And I had never experienced that before in what is called the third world. I had never experienced that, and so it was so interesting to see different types of oppression. I was like, but people are oppressed everywhere. But they are oppressed. So for me, it is oppression. If we can empower, and if you control people's minds, you control them. And that's what's being done through these systems, through mass media, through Hollywood, through money. So I would definitely say across the board oppression of every single form, gender oppression, racial oppression, class oppression, thought oppression, everything. Oppression. I want to get rid of it. I want to empower people.
Completely agree, of course, yeah. I really like what you said about not knowing that you're being oppressed. I think also another thing that's very much the other side of that is knowing whether you're the oppressor. So living in a society where you are perhaps stereotypically at the top of that social strata, and trying to work and being open enough to recognize whether you are a beneficiary of the status quo, and what you need to then do as the person who's holding the reins to change that. And that's very hard if your life is made easier by that thing. You might have to give up a few of your privileges, or things will have to equalize. And I think that's why people don't want to let go of the current power systems, which are so historic, of course. But yeah,
going back to the question about things that you can change, or that you would want to change, there are some examples that I was thinking of people who I really believe are making these changes, and if I may, I'd love to just talk about those people. There's a band from Lewisham, they're called United Vibrations. I don't know if you guys know them. Do you know them?
Yeah.
Yes, they're amazing. So United Vibrations, it's three brothers, Ahmad, Youssef and Karim, with their from Lewisham, and their brother in spirit, Wayne, who plays sax. Anyway, so they're a beautiful band, and their music is very much delivering quite general messages of love, and also challenging the various power structures that I mentioned before. But what I love about these guys is that they really embody this in their personal lives as well. So Karim in particular is involved in an organisation called the Rural Urban Synthesis Society, RUS for short. I'm going to say that because I trip over every time I try and say that sentence. So RUS is one of the first organisations that enabled there to be a self-build of affordable housing in South London. So these brothers grew up in Honor Oak Park in this beautiful cul-de-sac. It's beautiful, it's all sustainable, they grow their own food, and there's a community of people living there. That was built, I think, I'm not sure exactly, I think it was in the 80s, and it was one of its first, and it's obviously quite unusual in a city like London, which is very much driven by the property market. But one of the things that Karim is constantly campaigning for is to continue this, and they've just recently secured a contract with Lewisham Council to do the same again. So this is young people who are able to probably build their own house for as little as 20 grand, 15, 20 grand, and there's going to be a whole community of people who are able to live there sustainably, in harmony with the earth as much as they can. And I think that's a really beautiful thing in many ways. So that's encompassing social problems of people not being able to afford housing. That's also addressing various environmental issues. It's across the board. So that's a really beautiful thing. So that's United Vibrations. There's also people who are much more directly political as well. So I don't know if you guys know the singer Ian Shaw. I know Cecilia obviously knows Ian. Ian was the person who introduced me to the Calais jungle. I went with him for the first time, and I've learned a lot from him. He's a very inspiring man, and he sort of became pretty famous within the jazz circles, within mainstream jazz circles in the 80s. So he's got a platform. He's well received everywhere he goes. He does great gigs. Lots of people know about him. He's got lots of fans. And he's taken the risk. People are afraid of being political as artists because they don't want to lose their fan base, they don't want to divide people, it's a bit scary, the record label might not like it, it's a challenge. And he's unapologetically, shamelessly pro-refugee, pro-refugee rights. He used to go to the jungle almost every week without fail to muck in with the practical tasks. So, he could be easily swanning around the world, singing to nice audiences and drinking champagne, and he didn't do that. He was building shelters and talking to people and finding ways to actually create some sort of infrastructure in that really godforsaken place. So Ian is an example of somebody who uses his platform in social media, his connections with various people. He knows people at kind of governmental level, heads of charities, that kind of thing. And he absolutely goes 100% into that, which I really respect. Then we've got people like Soweto Kinch, who is very clearly pro-Labour, pro-Corbyn, whatever your views are on that. He's not afraid to use his platform in the same way. I think he's been canvassing around Birmingham to go, door to door, and this is a superstar doing that. It's amazing. Then we have people who are making these changes on a much more, on a bit more of a abstract level, I suppose. There's an amazing guy called Eugene Skeef. I don't know if you guys know him. He's a South African percussionist and composer, and he he was an exile from South Africa. He came to the UK in the 80s. He used to be Steve Biko's getaway driver, actually, back in the day. So he was quite a heavy motherfucker, basically. Now, you are? Yeah, right. I've never been, so okay. But yeah, Eugene is. He could power the world probably with love out of his little finger. He's the most gloriously warm, enveloping, beautiful soul, and to play music. Sorry, I'll finish in a second. And he's not overtly political, but again, he uses his platform and his way with people to try and spread a message of love. And I think all of these people have something in common, even though they're using slightly different approaches. But it's all about social cohesion, using the platform.
Can I just add? One more such person is Katerina Baraputi, who is sitting right here. Yes, please. Who is an artist and also a mindfulness practitioner, and she hopes through her work to create compassion in this very corporate world in which we live. And it's her birthday today. Or yesterday.
But I think this is great, and this is a part that I really wanted to come to anyway. So can we maybe hear a little bit about the things that you have done, engaged in? So, you know, Requiem for Aleppo, you know, for Pay for Progress, and all of these things that you guys do. Can you just tell us about that a little bit, please?
Yeah, we've been working, I think the first track we recorded for this project happened a couple of years ago, so it's been a long time coming. But I recently collaborated with composer David Cazalet on a soundtrack or an album called Requiem for Aleppo. It was staged as a contemporary dance piece at Sadler's Wells. That was the world premiere. They do have plans to take it on. But they never tell us these things in advance.
And can I just say one quick thing? You can actually see it online,
yes.
And it's absolutely stunning. And I'll post the link
Brilliant.
On the Fika Sessions Facebook site.
Brilliant.
So I'm going to post links to all of these people that we mentioned tonight. So, you know, make sure you give me your details and stuff so we can keep the conversation going online. But yes, please continue.
And all ticket sales, it was sold out, 1,500 people. All ticket sales went to Syria Relief Charity and Tech-Fugees. Please look up those charities if you want to. And I also know that you can donate online. So at the time that was a live stream link, but now it's a pre-recorded stream link. So you can still watch it and you can donate if you so wish.
And it's very clear. There's like lots of information about how you can donate if you want to. Yeah, but please tell us more about how it came about.
The project. So, well, like everything else in London, through the function circle. I literally knew a wedding singer, and he happened to be studio producing this beautiful project. They needed an Arab vocalist, and because I finally came out of my shell and sang in Arabic, they were like, oh, there's one. So possibly the biggest leap of faith I ever made was to actually do it. So I was brought on board. We worked for a good year on this. It's a fusion of Catholic choral, Christian sort of choir, very classical Catholic sound, like a big church sound. It's quite epic, and very Arabic vocals. And the lyrics for that was medieval Arabic poetry. Very, very beautiful stuff, very old stuff. It was abolic to like understand what it meant and decipher it, but I did with the help of some linguists. So in terms of sound, it's a super epic sound.
It's massive. It's absolutely massive.
It really is.
And it's super stunning.
Thank you. But yeah, I think like when because I was watching it in the audience with all these guys,
and none of us expected that caliber of production. I'm so glad. When you're making it in the studio, you're kind of just going to work, and it's all about. And we knew in the studio that we were making something special, and because we'd get so emotional so often, it was almost impossible to get through a day without tearing up. But you don't expect that kind of. It hits you when you watch it, and for us to be able to do that for Syria, really was even more special. Yeah.
And do you know if there will be any sort of continuation with that, or?
Yeah, there will be.
Yep.
I'm neither fully informed nor fully allowed to say what. But you know, do follow Requiem for Aleppo. They are across all social media. I'm sure Cecilia will post the stuff. And just a little shameless plug in here. You can follow me as well because I'm posting about it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna make sure that they get all of your ideas after, of course. Alice?
Thank you, that's amazing. I would love to see it. What was the question?
If you can tell us about
The things.
the charity,
Yeah, sure.
that you were involved in.
So I'm doing a mixture of stuff. I do some things very officially for charities. So, for example, Play for Progress, who I mentioned earlier, who are teaching orchestral instruments to the unaccompanied minors who arrived in the UK. I also do some work which is unofficial, and there are various benefits and drawbacks to that. So when you work for a big charity, there are various protocols that you have to follow, various rules. I have had a very interesting personal journey, just as an aside, in terms of working out what my strengths are and where I best fit in. And I think personally, I feel like I fit in best when I'm able to operate in my own way. I have felt like I was more effective if I could make friends with people on a very personal level, and it means that also you can do certain things which charities can't do. So there's the Play for Progress, and then now subsequently I'm doing various supportive work with people who are here. Iraqis, Syrians, Ethiopians, Eritreans, Afghans, people who I met in Calais and who are now here. Most of the people that I became friends with have found their way here. And obviously then that's not the end of the journey. The rest of the journey is very long. I'm sure plenty of you know about this already. Just to secure a lawyer, to secure some kind of legal aid, to survive on £35 a week in London is a big challenge. All the time, not knowing necessarily if your family is safe or what the future holds for you. You're not able to work. All kinds of challenges. So I've been trying to work with various people who I met volunteering. There's a handful of us who support each other and basically try and do various legal advocacy stuff with people who are trying to get their claims finalised, and also with young people who have had their ages disputed, various things like that. So obviously what that needs is money. There's no way to skirt around the issue. That's basically what's needed.
Can I just ask one question? Yeah. Because you've already kind of started touching on the next thing that I wanted to say. Sorry, I shouldn't sit in front of an amp with a microphone. I know. But I wanted to just quickly ask, since you've touched upon it. So if I feel that I have an urge, or I want to help out, but I have no clue in what, yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know what I would be good at, what are the moves? Like, what do I do?
It depends what you have. So sometimes mucking in yourself, turning up at the place isn't the most useful thing. You had people turning up in the jungle, for example, who were like, oh, hello, and had no concept of what was needed. And I was one of them as well. I'm not saying it in a judgmental way, it's just a fact. So you have to work out what your strengths are.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that if I'm today say, okay, you know what, I do want to make a difference, I do want to make a change, what, like, can I go to one of these organizations and say, hey, I want to help out, I have no clue what I do?
Of course. So you work out what you have. If you have time, if you have a skill, if you have money, or if you have connections. I think those are the four main areas. Some of us have a combination, some of us just have one, or a will. That's enough. So if you have money, then you can donate to phone credit for refugees and displaced peoples. That's on Facebook. That's an absolutely incredible lifeline. It's actually been a life-saving organisation. There was a case of a young boy who was trapped in a lorry, the oxygen was running out, he was able to text somebody and the police were called. So that's literally a life-saving organisation. It also enables people to contact their families, let them know that they're safe. It's very, very important. So that's a simple way. There's a text you can send, 10 quid, done. So that's very, very easy. You can also, if you want to talk to me about different organisations or people that you can speak to, if you have a skill or if you have time to spare, there are plenty of places that need volunteers. You can go to one of the camps, you can go to one of the camps in Greece, you can go and volunteer with Care for Calais, who are helping people, because obviously even though the jungle has been dismantled and the Dunkirk camp has burned down, the people are still there. The media would like you to think that they're not, but they are. Okay, they're still there. There are now a plethora of camps along the northern coast in France, maybe numbering up to about 100 people each. So the people are still there. The need for these people to come to the UK is still there. But obviously now that they're not all collected in one place, the infrastructure isn't there, so they need volunteers more than ever. They need volunteers, money and resources more than ever. And also for anybody who's questioning why these people want to cross over, I get the feeling you're not the crowd. Questioning it too much. But just in case you speak to somebody, a couple of statistics which are helpful, which I find helpful, is that there are 65 million displaced peoples worldwide. 65 million. That's the latest UNHCR statistic. And 6% of them are hosted in Europe. Just tiny. And if we think about all of the different ways in which our society, European society, Western society is responsible, has a hand in those various conflicts and inequalities which have created these problems, I would say that 6% is pretty small. And we think about how difficult it is for people to be reunited with their families. So if we think that the Calais camp, for example, was at its biggest, it was 10,000 people. It's just a drop in the ocean. You get all people here who are going, oh my God, there's 10,000 people who are trying to get into our country. That's really small number of people. You know, go to East Africa, there's millions of displaced peoples living in camps there. So it's really a small thing, and we can handle it. It just takes a little bit of willpower. I've lost my train of thought. What were you going to say, Cecilia?
No. I was talking more in general, but this is great. This is great because I think there's also some stigma around, you know, immigration and refugees and all of this, and for I think most of the people in this room, it's just a given that you would take care of people, you know, because so many times the Europeans have been taken care of without even a question by Africans or wherever America or wherever we've gone to. Syria, yes.
Syria and Iraq during the Second World War took in, my grandparents were Polish refugees, and they were taken in Iraq and Palestine. I hope that I would feel the same way I do anyway, but that's certainly a little boost, you know, if I'm feeling tired. I'm like, nah, come on, you owe this.
Yeah, and it's, I guess my initial question was just like, okay, what do I do? Like, how do I find these organizations? But I guess, you know, going to the Fika Session, checking you guys out, if this is one of your, if refugees is one of those things that you really feel that I burn for this, and I could definitely help out in some capacity. Amazing, you know. Then we have the like, I work with, for example, Amnesty International, which is a very well-known movement, and there's another one called Change, which works with indigenous people, because that's another kind of group that people don't talk about, you know, and also it's quite scary when you start looking at what are they doing with the land that they're driving these poor people out of, and the cultural death that they're giving to these poor people who survive like better than we're surviving in a world where we have everything. So there are many great organizations, but I guess I was just wondering, like, what do you do and everything? And you've already pointed out that. That's amazing.
I think talking as well.
Yeah,
that's a really big thing. Is that there are lots of people in our lives, right? We've all got issues that we care about, and we know who we can talk to them about because they're our echo chamber, and we know the various people, like maybe Aunt so and so, or the dude in our office, who you know doesn't think the same way as you, and it's really hard to start that conversation. I find it really hard. I have those people in my life, and we have to be brave. We have to be a witness to what's happening, because, I mean, I can't remember who said this, but the price of freedom is vigilance. We can't, you know, democracy and decency and fairness for all is not the default setting for our society. That's something that's been hard earned and hard won, and there will be people, unfortunately, who will try to take that away, and we have to take care of it and protect it at all costs. So have the conversation with your weird uncle, have the conversation with, you know, with whoever it is, you know, gently, but try and get people's mind to see another way, be polite, and try and get another person on board if you can. Maybe you'll learn something too. I've learned lots by talking to some, like, seriously right-wing weirdos.
No, it's so true, and I think that's one of the things that I wanted to do with the Fika session, because I feel that the creative arts are coming more and more into this kind of situation of despair where Arts Council is not getting enough money. I feel that if you should be happy if you get a gig, you know, because it's exposure for you. But then my master degree at the Royal Academy, you know, and deading myself to oblivion does not count as much as someone who's done 4 or 5 or 6 years at law school. They're getting paid a lot more, and I kind of felt like I want to have a night on where we can discuss issues that we feel, okay, I can't get any further on my own on this. And talking to a couple of actors and a couple of people in different industries, I realized that we had the same type of issues. And so I thought, okay, so it's not only musicians, it's, you know, maybe actually if we all come together, then the more we are, the stronger the movement is, and we're all going to be passionate about actually improving all of our situations. So I think just kind of going back a little bit to what you're saying is, you know, that's why now that the election is coming up, and it's so important to talk about it. You know, even for me, I'm not allowed to vote, even though I've been here for almost 11 years. And but that's something that's super important, to really kind of, you know, take those really hard conversations with people who don't have the same opinion as you, and also have the conversations with people who don't want to vote, or and maybe instill some sort of I don't know, importance is that it does count, and it will affect whatever you do. The smallest thing, sending an email to someone. I've sent so many emails where I thought, oh yeah, it's just me, and then 6 months later I get an email saying, oh, you just freed someone from getting stoned to death because she posted something on Facebook. You know, and I think it's so important that we try in all our power and our platforms to try to reach out to people, whether they're ready to hear it or not, you know. But yeah,
I think that lots of people are much more receptive to that stuff when it's personalized as well. You know, when you actually look in someone's eyes who's been affected by something.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a drop in the ocean, but Christmas, sometimes I do Crisis for Christmas. I'm a hairstylist, And I do truly believe that just being able to kind of pick someone's confidence off the floor, because these people, they're autistic, they're kind of self-medicated, they're in a hole, they are. And I walk past these people every single day, and some people don't even look at them. And it may not be necessary, their movement, my kind of, I suppose, drop in the ocean, but I can tell you now, I walked out of that first time I did that, and I had one of them, she had no goddamn teeth, and she was the best smile I've ever seen in my life. She was singing gospel, and it was like the most amazing energy for me personally to kind of get them together and understand where they came from. Because every single person you walk past, they have a story. And you have to have some characters to live on the street for sure, trust me. I think I know most of them by name. But what I'm saying is, to be able to cut someone's hair, and that's just what we do personally, all of these things that you're saying that you've done are amazing. Like, they're absolutely banging. But as far as I'm concerned, I feel like, how can I fit my skill into bettering someone's life? And and that was amazing. And then Alex came and she gave out hats at Christmas. We went to Primark and we got loads of hats and all that, and all those little things. And Alex has been my assistant for a while, and now she's a stylist. And it's kind of like, doing those little things and just seeing that one little smile. It is a movement to an extent, and like you say, a drop in the ocean could, it could create. It could create a massive sea for all we know.
And it's infectious as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and also, you don't know how that is going to affect her and her family, or her closest, or the people that she lives with on the streets. It's I never underestimate, a small thing, a smile, hello,
Well,
acknowledging, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, nice one.
Right, so let's open it up to you guys. So, talking about creating a creative movement, is there anyone right now who, is doing something that we could, that you want to tell us about? Yes, perfect.
Hello. Hi. My name is Zach. By trade, I'm an IT contractor. So I've worked in various different realms in IT. I've also manager for the BBC, so I've worked on many different levels when it comes to delivering information. So I'm also an expert when it comes to internet marketing and various other things. I've also been in the field of organising entertainment groups, and quite recently I've got a group of people that have come together to start a new agency. So it's actually going to be called the London Talent Agency. So it's a coincidence that I didn't realise that there was a network thing going on here. A friend of my wife's invited me down. So, but it just sprung to mind that the agency that we're developing is to bring together all the talent. Everybody produce a video, a short description that goes onto a website primarily, and then we work with delivery partners who have ideas for production shows. And also, I don't know, has anyone been to the Jerry's bar in Dean Street? It's quite a nice buzz. It's like a private members bar that's for theatre goers and stuff like that. So I've been speaking to quite a few people in there, and they've got shows that they would like promoting, and there's various other things where they're looking for resources, they're looking for people to be involved. So the idea of the agency is that we have delivery partners that they may have contacts in the field of entertainment. They may have shows that they want to develop. And I've also got quite a few contacts in different roles that have regular nights that would involve various amounts of different ideas that come together. So it's like a production company in a way, but it's also to assist the performers that choose to be involved on a social media level, because I can, for instance, design a website for less than £10 now. It's fully functional, and it gets you up there on social media and stuff. If you type in dancer London or vocalist, an introvert, you're going to be up there. So this is the type of information we need now to help with production, because there's so many different interconnected parts when it comes to IT that you've got a website, it may not be drawing people in. You might be very talented and don't have time for the technical side of things to get that done. So the idea of the agency is to bring all those talents together so that we can move forward. So if anybody wants to be involved with it, just give me a number and stuff. I'd be happy to put it, to go through the enrollment process that's going to be happening soon in another bar around the corner. So I'd be happy to do that.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Someone else?
Someone else? Yes, perfect.
Hi. I just wanted to say about the whole creativity thing. About when we first started,
Just a little closer. Yeah.
Can you hear me better? Yeah. I personally feel like anyone in this room, or anyone in general, who has some sort of skill or some passion they feel strongly about, or even if they're not really too sure, they just enjoy something, I feel like creativity can really bring that out. And I feel like if there's anyone here that feels strongly about something, whether again it's their skill, their passion, they enjoy something, if there's anything on, or that they want to create something that maybe can inspire someone else, just by being in your little box and having a few ideas, I think that really goes a long way.
Yeah.
And it goes a long way without even realising how many people can be inspired by that. So for example, as Lara said, we are both hairstylists, and I was Lara's assistant, and she's amazing, by the way. But I spent a lot of time enjoying doing my job, making people feel really good about themselves and their hair and everything. But it wasn't until the beginning of the year I realised how much more there is to hairdressing. And I think that's the same with a lot of people with what they do. I feel like sort of need to get out there, get out of their little box. Not that there's anything wrong with their little box, but it's always good to get out of that little box to discuss your creativity with other people, because they might have some different creativity in their minds, and you can really get together and it can really inspire you, and you become a better person, you become more inspiring, and you get in different ideas that can help you get better in life. So my point is, if anyone is passionate about something, really put it out there. As you said, you are amazing, your voice is amazing, and your Arabic songs, they are really, really, I felt hypnotised, and you coming out of your comfort zone and putting it out there, I just feel like some people, it's good for them to hear that, to come out and
absolutely.
That's a really strong point. I just want to build on that.
Yeah,
It's such
build
a strong
on that.
point, and I'm very glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because in a way, this kind of our fear or our comfort zone is actually much more selfish if you think about it.
Because you're not giving.
Because you are not giving it.
Enough of you.
And you never know who's going to look up and be saved by a breath that you make. You really never know. So I absolutely agree. Just put it out there. Somebody might look up. Absolutely.
If you're the best and biggest version of yourself, I'm saying this to myself too currently, then it gives permission to other people to do the same.
So that's got to be
It's
our
very empowering.
mantra in the morning.
Yeah.
The best, biggest self you can be. Sure.
Yes.
Just to add a little bit to that, the gift is not yours to keep.
No, I love that.
The gift is not yours to keep. The gift is yours to give and to share. And as you say, it can inspire, it can enlighten, it can save one person, it can touch one person's heart. The job is done, so the gift has been given to you to share.
Yeah, amazing.
I went to a happiness seminar, and after about 2.5 hours, the conclusion was that happiness comes with giving others. And I think that if I could have some sort of, influence with my music and stuff, I think that would be me making sure that other people give, to others.
that it's not about you, it's about, you know.
Sure.
Starting a ripple. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Can I add something?
Please.
Challenge.
Yes.
I want to challenge that, not to challenge it actually, because I totally agree, but I would like to challenge in a way that being happy, meaning being fulfilled, having meaning in our daily life, whatever, because I'm helping someone with a smile, or because I am helping myself with a smile to myself, right? This is meaning. So it's not hocus pocus happy, ooh, you know, I'm going to buy a nice car and I'm happy. But being happy, personally, having a meaningful life and allowing myself to be happy and to take this joy of life, then makes me like a glowing box of joy to the others. What you have been pointing out, like, you know, it's not yours. My joy is mine, but it's not mine. Because if I am joyful and have meaning, if I change my own life to a point that I'm not guilty anymore, right? And that I deserve to be here and sing, to be here and listen to you talking, which is a joy, and I permit myself to do that, right? Then I am giving to others without even understanding that. So I'm not challenging what you said. It's exactly the same thing,
good. I don't
right?
mind.
But I just use the word challenge because in my work, I've seen, you know, there is this point of guilt always in all of us. I'm an artist and I also do training and mindfulness coaching to people. I have worked from underprivileged people like his company in the past to corporates that you mentioned. We are very privileged, but very underprivileged emotionally, okay?
Yes.
So, and I've seen the same thing again and again, that I either feel guilty for myself, and therefore even if I try to give, it's not that it's not real. I don't know how to do it, right? Because I've never given to myself. So just to conclude this wonderful conversation, when we talk about change, it's like I'm listening to music, because it's an orchestra. It's all the things that simultaneously bring the change. Is what I change in my daily life for myself, like giving myself a kiss, you know, allowing myself to be happy without thinking, yes, there are many people who are unhappy, I deserve to be happy, and therefore I have the power to give to others, as you said. So it's a whole orchestra with everything you do, you know, in the whole, you know, society, and we do, everything we do in every beat of breath we take for ourselves. So this is how I saw change to people, and I was really happy to witness that.
This is what I love about the Fika Session, baby. Because everyone's real, man. Yeah. And everyone's saying what they feel, and people don't do that enough. And you make it happen, girlfriend.
Thanks.
Right, so maybe it's that time where we should like kind of try to round off a little bit. There's a couple of things that I actually I wanna say. Can we please just give a round of applause for Juliana? And to Alice. And to Alexis, wherever he's going here.
Well, to Cecilia Stalin for organizing the Fika Session.
Well done. Well, this is all not possible if it wasn't for you guys. So please, can you help me spread the news about the Fika Session? So if you've taken any photos or little videos, please use the hashtag. The photographer is shaking his head, thank you very much. Hashtag the Fika Session, it's Fika. Please go and join our Facebook page. And can we please keep the conversation going there? I'd love to hear what you guys individually are working on, or if you are doing anything, what are your passions? Is there a charity that you support? Yeah, just post it there. Let me know. What was I going to say? I'm so terrible at this. I'm just used to singing. Who the fuck talks? I don't talk at my gigs. Yeah, you're much better at this than me. But yeah, and for me it's just really amazing that you guys come here and you're participating and you're listening, from everything from listening to Juliana sing and to listening to us talking and being part of it. It really means the world, and let's keep this going. Yes? Right, so let's finish off with a little bit of more music, please. So, but before, actually, I told them that you need to tell everyone where we can find you. AliceZmusic.com, please, yes. And are you on the Instagrams and all of those? Facebook and Twitter and yes. But AliceZmusic.com is a beautiful site, so yes. And Juliana, can you just let everyone know where to find you?
JulianaYazbeck.com. There's links to all my social media. You can contact me, you can see my videos, stream my SoundCloud, etc.
Perfect. And everything will be available at the Fika Session, so on our Facebook page. So. But yes, let's bring Alexis back.
I am very likely to be launching a crowdfunding campaign in the next few months. And the only thing I will ask you to do at this stage is follow me on Facebook or any social media platform that you choose. You've all got your phones, you've got my name, just do it, because that's where I'm going to be announcing my upcoming album, etc. That's my full name, Juliana Yazbeck. If you need me to spell it, it's written on the that paper right there. Thank you. So, we're going to, so as I mentioned, today is, well, yesterday was Caterina Baraputi's birthday, and I want to dedicate this song to you. Caterina took me to Greece for a project, for a wonderful project, and it's very, very similar to my hometown in Lebanon. Very Mediterranean, hot. So when I sing this song, it does remind me of Greece. So I wrote this song about my hometown, Batroun. It's an ancient, and when I say ancient, I mean 5,000 years continuously inhabited ancient seaside town in Lebanon called Batroun. And this song is called Little Home. The sea's rocky shore, there the water is always warm. There will I find my little home, with walls of yellow stone. There where you find the olive grove, there where the breeze caress your soul, there where our long forgotten
forgotten homes are made of salt and liquid gold. There were our kindred-built halls of hope, there where we worship the sun and snow, there where the thorns forever grow, and peace no friend from foe. There will our mothers never alone bear us as we bear children of our own. There will our mothers never alone bear us as we bear children of our own. Our skin is like the sun, our skin is of the sun, made by the mother, the universe, the one we've only just begun shining. We know we're rising, like the break of day on the horizon. We celebrate our DNA into the foray. We dare to foray, we lay our heads down to rest. We build a nest on glory, glowing afternoons, glances stolen in the light of the moon. Bearing the light of our ancestors, we act as abdicators of unjust powers. And to those who would have us cower, we rule from our high holy tower of love. We know what we're thinking of, but unspoken words sometimes speak louder. We make music instead, we break bread. We never rush, we always stay ahead. And when the sea swallows the sultry sun, we find a place to be at one together with ancient letters, and finally we rest our heads on sandy beds. Oh my friend said, oh my friends, what could be better? There will our mothers never alone bear us as we bear children of our own. There will our mothers never alone bear us as we bear children of our own. Children of our own, bear us as we bear children of our own, bear us as we bear children of the sun.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yep. We'll do one more. Thank you. Can I have my water bottle? Yeah. Sorry guys, this one requires a sip of water. So this last song I'm gonna sing is a cappella. So it's just me and my mic, and you, and all of you, and your wonderful, wonderful energy. I wrote a poem when I was 17 as a high school examination in Arabic, and it would stay buried. You know. I don't know if I think all mothers are like this. Certainly, Arab and Mediterranean mothers. Like, she kept the poem for 10 years, and I found it. I rediscovered it, and I decided to write melody for it and to turn it into a song. It is in Arabic, so I'm going to end on that note. Back to my roots. It's a dedication to our capital city, Beirut. So this song is called Aqif fi Beirut, which means I stand in Beirut.
One